Hello, my name is Michael Butterfield. This is the Team 1 meeting on May 31st. We're going to start the meeting. I'm going to go over sequence diagrams. Hopefully my screen is being shared. I think that's better. So sequence diagrams is a UML diagram that shows objects, or it shows how objects operate with one another and in what order. And I guess I personally could add how the actor or the user interacts with those objects as well. So the components of sequence diagrams, there's a lifeline, which is basically, it can be like an instance of a class, a component, or an actor. And then there's an actor, which is the user of the system. And then there's the synchronous message. And the sender waits for a response for a synchronous message before it continues. So that's part of the arrows in the diagram. And there's an asynchronous message, and that's a message that does not require a response. And then there's an execution occurrence, which is basically when something is executed or when the participant is executing an operation. There's a callback message, which is a message that returns back to the participant that is waiting for a return from an earlier call. There's a self message, which is a message from our participant to itself. A create message, that's a message that creates a participant. A found message, which is an asynchronous message from an unknown or unspecified participant. A lost message, which is an asynchronous message to an unknown or unspecified participant. A comment, and that's just like a comment that's attached to a lifeline. There's the interaction use, and that encloses a sequence of messages that are defined in another diagram. There's a combined fragment, a collection of which is a collection of fragments, a fragment guard, and that's used to state a condition relevant to whether the fragment will occur. And then there's a destruction event, and that represents a point where the object is deleted or you can't access it anymore. And there's the interaction, which is the collection of messages and lifelines that's displayed in the sequence diagram. So I have an example. My example doesn't include all of those because it's an example for the flashcard application that the team proposed. So on the left-hand side, you can see there are two actors. There's the student and the tutor. Either one can open the app, and that will take them to the main screen. And that from the main screen, they can select a deck to study or select create a deck. If they select create a deck, they can create flashcards, and then it returns to itself, and then they can return home and then select a deck to study. But whether they select a deck to study before or after creating a deck, they will flip through cards as seen in this action here, and then they can return to the main screen. And so that is a basic sequence diagram for the application that we have proposed. And that is all I have on that. I'm going to go ahead and flip over to Anthony's screen.
All right. Cool beans. Really good presentation.
Thank you.
Okay. So right now I'm going to share my screen and just want to talk a bit about our project and what's going to happen. Let's see. You can see my screen?
Yeah, looks good.
Okay, so I'm going to show you the things that I've done with my own project, and yeah, then we'll see how things go from there. Okay. So right here I've got I'm using the MVC, model. We got the model view and controller, and I got everything worked out with Hibernate. So basically, using Hibernate and generating the POJOs, I have here my classes that will basically be used for stuff, and I've got my views right here. So far I've just got a list of items that prints out and to add a new item. Let's actually just show that real quick. Hold on 1 second. It's building. There we go. It's running it a little slow. Okay. Here's the little app. So for now I have it working so that if I can make a search based on the title, and you can see we got Terminator 2, The Dark Knight. We got all these things that begin with T, and I can also do search based on whether it's a video game. There you can see we got video games. Some of these are test things, but yeah. I'm still having, I don't know why I'm having a hard time, working with Hibernate and how they use queries. So I tried to combine the two, but it's still not working. So using both, generating a query based on the title and the medium. I have it written down, but it works on the HQL query thing, but here it's not letting me do it. But I don't know. Here I got a add item form, and I have to really want to just figure out how to just so that it just switches between these two instead of making a new JFrame, just switching to a different page. But for now, that's what I got. So we can just add in, let's put in Alice in Wonderland, just because. Let's say Disney's author movie. I don't know what year the original came out, so let's just put, I don't know, 1960. The rating. Ads. Okay. All right. And we get a message saying it was successfully added. Great. Now let's just double check that. Okay, so to double check that, let's go over here to right here, yeah. Run HQL query. Let's connect to my database. Okay, it's loading. Come on. Okay, there we see Alice in Wonderland. The author's still not working. Gotta fix that. I saw that before. And the synopsis is not working, so I gotta fix that one as well. But you can see it's adding the item to the database. Great. And I also, in order to have JSONs, what I think I'm gonna do is instead of loading data directly from the database, what I'll do is I will actually just load data from the JSON that I have. And you can see that this is how I'm generating the JSON for right now. I'm actually creating a list and then putting that list into a string. And it actually works out pretty well. And let me show you, I'll show you the JSON file. And I'm actually using my local host website in order to write the JSON to the file. So that's how I'm using the HTTP URL connection. Okay, here's the items. Take a look at that. Okay, let's see. So here we got Alice in Wonderland. That's working. The ID, I don't know why it's not writing it. These are little bugs, but it is writing it to the file, to the JSON file, well, to the text file. These are my JSONs. So I'm working with JSONs, and I'm gonna just use this to get the JSONs using HTTP URL connection in order to send, the array to be written right here. And yeah, we got Hibernate, we got all this stuff. And so pretty close to getting this. I hope to get this all done, especially with the other technologies that are required. And then we'll figure out how to work that in with our project app, which I created this. I put the GitHub link in the group folder, I think. So this basically has the same stuff. We've got our deck, we got all this stuff. So I created this Hibernate stuff for our project. This is using the table, the SQL data, the SQL file that we wrote up last week. So that's that. Any questions?
That's awesome. That's I guess one question. So, just so I understand correctly, you're using HTTP connection to connect to a database that you have through like phpMyAdmin?
Basically, it's like this. In order to connect to a database, basically my database is connected to. You can see the database on phpMyAdmin, but you can load into that here on services, and go to databases, and you'll see like right here where it says MySQL server at localhost. This is your PHP at MyAdmin on the local host.
Okay.
And you want to connect to that database. And that's how you do your Hibernate stuff. So first you want to connect to it, and then they'll have the connection down here. You see, I've got the decks, I've got my database stuff. But with the HTTP URL connection, it's actually doing something completely different. Where I'm actually creating a list of JSONs. I'm creating a JSON file, or JSON string, to be written to a text file. And the HTTP URL connection happens where I'm sending this right here, this string JSONs, to my local host, to a local web application that I have. And so what happens is my local web application receives this, and I'm actually calling a method that I have defined in here. You can see add item JSON. It's actually calling that method in order to add in order to write the. I'll show you that right now. Right here, it's actually calling this method in order to write it to a text file. Yeah, and then I can also get the same JSONs and put them into create a list of items as well. Does that make sense?
That does.
Okay, perfect.
So as far as databases goes, I assume this is kind of some stuff, you're implementing stuff that you learned from. Did you take the back-end development class?
Yeah, I took back-end development. But you basically really don't need to. I mean, this right here, this method, this is PHP. But I mean, this is just calling any kind of like web service, and usually most things are written in PHP, especially when you're dealing with web applications. I mean, almost all of it. So, I mean, there's other stuff, but I'm not too familiar with like ASP.NET and stuff like that. But this is what you'd want to use. I would create like a local, web application and create some basic methods, just because that's one of the requirements. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's how the JSONs. I had to figure out a better way to write out the JSONs because there's something going on that's like I'm not getting the IDs I don't know why, and so that's kind of a problem I'm having. As you can see right here, getting each one of these authors written out as null, which is not good. Oh no. So yeah.
Everything's looking good though. That's exciting. How far you are with that.
Yeah. But then the problem is I need to get, I mean, I don't know how many views I'm gonna have to make for this project, just because I imagine what he wants us to do is. That's the question. Oh, got my baby trying to get into trouble. So yeah, basically, you can see right here for my views. I mean, we got add an item, but I don't want it to flip into another screen, like load another J-frame. I'd like it to switch just to another page and stay within the same frame. And I have to figure that out. But yeah. Like I could have created this as a web application. Like right here you got DVD store. That's what it looks like. You need to be working a lot more, you know, XHTML and stuff like that. But from what I gather from the requirements, not necessary. I think it would have been a lot easier. But yeah, this is just all pure Java.
That's awesome.
So yeah, any other questions?
That's it for me. I guess one question is, unless, I guess, if everyone decides to start meeting at like a different time, then is that what you two are thinking? That everyone's going to start meeting at a different time?
I think we have to figure out a way for us to. There has to be a way for all of us to be on at the same time. Just because there's a lot that has to be covered. I mean, there are 8 of us. To do the project, it should be super easy. Just maybe it's just too many cooks in the kitchen. That could be a problem as well. But I mean, it's totally. If we could divide it up, it should be pretty easy. But it's just like nobody can meet at this time. It's like I don't know what to do anymore.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
It's like, let's see. Yeah, like I think most can meet in a day, but I don't know. Look how many of us are on right now. There's 3 of us. Last week, I think it was yeah, just 3 or 4 of us as well. So at 4 o'clock.
What was that?
I think Logan's writing 4 o'clock on Wednesday. What do you think, Michael?
I could make that work.
Yeah, I can make that work as well. But I think some people that I know that some what's his name? Arden, he can't make it at that time. I know that. Oh my gosh. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. 1
No
second.
worries. Yeah, I have a time booked to meet with the instructor, so I'll ask him what he would recommend, because it almost seems like there is not a single time that we can all meet. That's what it seems like to me, at least.
Okay, I'm back.
Cool.
So yeah, I believe Arden he couldn't make it at 10. No, he couldn't make it at 4, but I think he said he could make it at 10 o'clock at night. Okay. We just need to get. Yeah, well, ask everybody if 4 o'clock would be good enough for them. It's good for them. I mean,
That's a good idea.
because yeah, lately it's just been. What was that?
Oh, I just
Text.
said that's a good idea to ask and
Okay.
see if 4 o'clock works.
Yeah, so we can do that, and that way we can figure out things with the project, because it just seems like, whoa.
It does.
I mean, if I can just, I can basically apply all this stuff that I'm doing with my application to the project. But I think it'd be great if everybody, I also put the SQL file up on the group folder, so if you want to mess around with that, it's up there.
Awesome.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. I mean, all right. Okay. So, yeah. So 4 o'clock on Wednesday. Should we meet again? Have 2 meetings this week?
If you guys shoot out an invite, I'll probably be on and join.
Okay. So should we? We'll try to convince everybody at 4 o'clock, and we'll see how things go from there.
All right, that's a good idea.
Sound
As
good?
far as this, I'm going to go ahead and post this one anyway.
Yeah, post it anyway, and because yeah, I mean all of us
Like
had
just in
agreed to
case.
this time before, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to post this one anyway, and if Wednesdays at 4 is the new thing, that would be all right with me. Yeah,
Okay.
just I'll hang out tomorrow at 4 and see what happens.
All right. Cool.
So maybe we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right.
You guys have
Bye,
a good
guys.
one.
See ya.